Hey guys, it's Brom, founder of DISS ESPORTS, and I'm here to talk to you about something that's changing about DISS ESPORTS going into 2026. I am a bit sick, so forgive me if I sound a little congested and that annoys you. It certainly annoys me, so sorry about that. But this video will be mostly unedited, so hopefully I can just take my time and share a couple important details and changes that are happening. But I also hope that this video will be helpful to DISS team members, because instead of a wall of text, you guys now get a video. And I just think it's fitting that we talk about our team standard changes in our first ever community announcement video. We will be doing more of these, by the way, and they'll probably be more heavily edited and actually entertaining. But for this time, you're just getting me yapping about team standards. So if you actually scroll up to team standards in the server information section of our Discord, you can follow along and kind of see what I'm talking about. But I'm just going to tell you visually what you'll see change. One of the biggest things that you'll already have seen that did exist before this, but did get cleaned up a little bit, is just our core values, which is integrity, humility, mutual respect, and a positive competitive attitude. Those aren't changing, but I kind of fixed them a little bit so they're a little bit more clear. The new thing that you'll see is what happens when you fail to follow a team standard. I think in the past it's been a little bit vague what it means when you violate a team standard, and we certainly didn't have it written anywhere. So I just want to make it more clear and concise on what happens when each violation occurs and how you're going to have to deal with that. So first off, if you violate a team standard, you'll be getting benched for a week. For leaders, you don't get benched for a week because you're not playing. However, just understand that a violation is still a really bad thing to have on your record. So if you do violate something, yeah, you're not getting benched, but you're still having a violation. For the second violation, it gets a little bit more serious, and this is where things really need to turn around. Basically, you're going to be permanently added to sub position. So if you're a main 5 player, you're going to go into sub and someone's going to take your spot, until you can prove that you're turning around attitude-wise and just in general start proving that you're wanting to be on this team and you are here for the long run and you're going to put in the work. If you can't do that, unfortunately that violation is going to stay on your record, but we want to make it clear that we're all for people just kind of getting their crap together, saying sorry, and moving forward. If you're able to work with your coach, leader, or me on improving whatever thing that you've been doing wrong, you have a good chance to have that violation removed from your record so that you're not close to getting cut. That brings me to our third violation, where if you violate a third time, you're cut from our team and possibly banned from our server and forever, and no unbans will ever happen. It's really important that you guys take this seriously, because going forward, your violations will stay on your record for an entire year. So for all of 2026, if you violate the team standards once, it's going to stay on your record. If you violate it again, it's going to stay on your record. And if you violate it a third time, you're out until the next year. There are some exceptions to this. If you violate a team standard and it's bad enough, and let's just say you have one violation, but then you violate something on December 23rd, and you have 2 violations, what we'll do is we'll just knock you down to 1 violation going into January, but you'll still hold on to that violation just because clearly you did that recently and you need to kind of prove that you're, not going to do that again. So ideally, nobody in our org gets violations, but if this does happen, it's going to be something that we, kind of get on top of right away and have a proper process for. I do want to make sure that people understand that if multiple rules are broken at the same time, or certain violations are heinous enough, we will just ban you outright. There is just an important understanding that some things are worse than others. So if you do something that's like, okay, you had a crash out and you called someone some names you shouldn't have called them, and it was rude and mean or demeaning, or maybe you just had a pissy attitude for multiple months in a row, or maybe you're just not showing up to practices on time. Those are very different than calling someone a, racial slur or being discriminatory or just hateful to people. Like, those are very different things, and we need to treat those as such. We tried our best to kind of separate the team standards a little bit from, minor offense to major offense within each team standard. So for example, in the first team standard, no toxicity or hate, this gets broken down into 1A and 1B. 1A features things like bullying, hateful cursing at anyone, and other things. 1B, however, talks about racism, sexism, homophobia, etc. Those are two different vibes. We don't like either, and both will get you in trouble, but you need to be careful, especially as a rookie, if you violate basically a B section of a team standard. You can expect to potentially get cut off the rip. That's just something that we believe is important to have, and it is probably the main reason why our org has remained a fairly toxic-free environment. We're not just trying to be in esports, we're trying to create a more positive experience and culture within esports. Valorant is a tough community to be a part of. People are not usually very nice, and most of the time are coming from communities that are also very toxic. And in general, it makes and honestly gets in the way of your esport progress. If you're trying to be a contender or tier 2 player, it's impossible to get there if your teammates are holding you back by being more toxic, demeaning, and unhelpful in your growth. Encouraging each other is the best and only way to success. VCT teams understand this, which is why every team has contracts and guidelines, and they're getting paid to not be jerks to each other, but instead to synergize. They need to prove that by working well together. This is why you see some of the best teams in VCT thrive when they're synergized and they actually like playing together. And you'll never hear, from most teams at least, any one of the teammates blaming it on somebody else on their team. They get to that press conference, and the first thing you'll hear out of their mouth is how it was their fault and how they could have done more and how they let their team down. I mean, the most notable one I've seen was Boaster in his Fnatic. I think it was his Toronto loss, and is also in the championship loss. Both times he took it on himself and blamed himself in a lot of ways. Honestly, as an IGL and as a just important player to the team, it's often there's a lot of pressure on you to do your job well. And if you fail, it can be really easy to try to find a scapegoat because you don't want to take all that pressure. But he took it on, and most players that I've seen that are of high quality and character tend to have that same character trait. So that's what we're looking for in DISS Esports, is competitive players with a good attitude. And hey, you don't need to like everybody, but just try your best to do everything you can to follow these team standards as closely as possible. And trust me, we'll give you every chance we can to improve your attitude and improve your personal vibes before we try to cut you. Remember, we want to build up your skill, but we also want to help build you up as a person. If you want to learn something about yourself, you want to get better at connecting with people and communicating to people, that is a skill that you can learn in esports, and we're more than happy to teach you it. That's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. More videos like this are coming out. Hopefully a little bit more exciting topics, of course. But for now, I really appreciate you guys' endless support. It's been super awesome. And I will be back very soon to talk more about our recruitment changes, what we're doing in the future for new teams, yada yada, fun stuff. Really cool things coming that I think will be fun to watch. But for now, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you guys hopefully next week or a week or two from here. And also, good luck in your premier matches, whether you're on our team or just in the community, whatever, wherever you are. Good luck. Hope you have fun, and hope you get endless wins. But until then, I'll see you guys later.